Hello and welcome to the Best Cosmetic Patient Marketing Plan presentation. I'm Catherine Maley, author of Your Aesthetic Practice. And tonight's presentation, you're going to discover how to market smarter so you can be sure you're getting a good return on your advertising efforts. How to see a surge of patients without lifting a finger. How to reconnect with patients you haven't seen for a while. How to encourage your patients to return and refer new patients in a fun way. And how to see a nice spike in your revenues next month. Because imagine this, having a solid plan in place, knowing it's humming along and you don't have to worry about it. You know you're bringing in revenues because your promotions are on autopilot. That gives you the mental freedom from constantly worrying about your practice's financial stability. And can you imagine enjoying a predictable, systematic revenue stream? This puts you in a position of confidence and power because you know money's coming in. You have freedom because you eliminate the scramble mode during your down months that create worry and angst. And you get the unfair advantage over your competitors because the most successful practices do the things that unsuccessful practices won't do. And just in case you're not familiar with my work, I speak on cosmetic patient attraction topics at medical conferences all over the world. As a matter of fact, I just spoke this morning at ASAPS in Vegas and last year in Milan and Madrid this year. And then I write for the medical magazines, and I even wrote a book on what your patients are saying to learn what patients wanted from you. And I've been consulting with cosmetic practices and training their staff for over 16 years. So I've seen what has happened in our industry that's making it difficult for you to succeed, such as too much choice. The relentless competition is brutal and it's not going away. As more practitioners enter this world of cash medicine, it increases the price pressure and it can turn the cosmetic patient into a price-sensitive, confused, impulsive, demanding, unrealistic consumer. There's also way too much hype in the advertising for cosmetic rejuvenation. Exaggerated claims can make for unrealistic expectations, so it can be difficult to satisfy these consumers. And that can hurt your reputation as well as your online reviews. And millions of online and offline media channels make it confusing for you to decide where to invest in patient marketing. It's difficult because new cosmetic patients are everywhere and they're nowhere. You'll run out of time, money, and energy trying to be everywhere they are. Technology has also confused the issue. It's been very exciting to watch the advancements. However, it's made it more difficult for the cosmetic patient to make a decision because there are so many choices. For example, they can try minimally invasive and delay surgery if they believe they can get a good enough result. So that's not helping, especially if you offer surgical procedures. And if that weren't enough, you now need to address generational differences in cosmetic patients. And for example, but I'm totally generalizing, your younger patients like technology, online gaming, and special deals, while your middle-aged patients are skeptical. And they do a lot more research because they need a lot more social proof and details before they decide. And your more mature patients care a lot about your status as an experienced surgeon, and they like the more one-on-one emotional connection they get with you. So then the question becomes, so what do? Well, you stop for a minute and you think this through before you keep throwing money at the problem. Because the key to success is not doing more. It's doing more of what works. Isn't that the truth? And I don't say that lightly. I watch so many practices throw money at marketing because that's what they've always done, or they like the ad person selling them, or they didn't know any other alternatives. So let me give you another easier way to figure this out. Follow your successes. Start here with who's already given you money. And then find out how they hear about you. Did they find you on the internet randomly? Did somebody mention you to them? Did they see your ad or your billboard or your commercial? By the way, if those numbers are difficult for you to come up with, then a new rule is if you can't track it, don't invest in it. It's just too expensive and it's too easy for today's technology to track. So you no longer have to guess at your marketing's effectiveness. So when I surveyed the top practices throughout the US, I learned for them that 25% of their new patients came from the internet, 30% were patients coming back for more, and then referrals were 45%. What that says is you need to budget proportionately to your own successes. Now, once you decide who your preferred patients are, you map out an annual promotional calendar to reach new internet stranger patients, as well as a plan to encourage your current patients to return for more and to refer their friends. Now, here's what I mean by a marketing mix. If 25% of your efforts goes towards, let's say, a system to get found on the internet by stranger patients, you're going to need to use SEO, which is search engine optimization, pay per click, otherwise known as PPC. You're going to need to write articles. You're going to need to write a blog. You're going to need to be on directories that patients can find you through. You're going to need to answer questions on Real Self because Real Self is considered a Google favorite. You're also going to have to write press releases. You can also do some link building to other reputable sites like your medical associations, but just be really careful with that because if they're bad links, you never want to pay somebody questionable to do link building for you because it'll get you, kicked off of the internet. And then, of course, you've got to do some YouTube videos. I mean, that is how you do in today's world. So here's what's going to happen here. There's nothing quick and easy about this if you want to play the internet game, but here's how I would recommend you go about being found on the internet and try to turn this into a process and a system. So here's what I would do. I would do a patient consultation on each procedure. During that consultation, I would record it so you could then be a guest on a podcast, or you could just make up your own podcast. And then you could always Twitter it out to, go check out my new podcast. You can also transcribe it. This one's the best one because it can be turned into an article. It can be a blog post. It can be a press release, or you can use it for Q&A on Real Self. You can also videotape it, and that you can put on YouTube, and then also split it up into small chunks and put it on Vine. And then you can also take photos, and those you can use in Facebook and Instagram and Pinterest. But then you want to have a system for your current patients to return and refer. And why is that? Well, a big reason is it's a lot cheaper. It actually costs 16 times more to advertise for a new patient than it does to market to an existing patient. I mean, think about it. You've already spent the time, the money, and the hassle attracting these patients to you through mass advertising, such as the things we just went through: SEO, website design, PPC, TV, radio, cable, print ads, and so on. But it takes minimal time, money, and effort to encourage your existing patients to come back for more and to bring their friends with them. And the conversion rates can differ dramatically between external mass advertising versus internal in-house marketing to those who already know, like, and trust you. Because in our industry, the shortest distance between you and new patients has always been and will always be your competitive patient who is thrilled with her results, bragging about you to her friends and family. And here's an important point to remember. The aesthetic patients have endless needs. That's the beauty of this, pun intended. You cater to a very hungry market. Those patients who care about how they look and feel have all sorts of concerns you can address now and for years to come, thanks to the relentless aging process. So your patients who came in for one procedure are most likely interested in additional procedures that answer their other concerns. Now that means a patient who came in for Botox will often work their way up the ladder to surgery or other big ticket procedures. And then those who came in for surgery or other big ticket procedures are much more likely to now be open to going down your ladder to the more minimally invasive procedures and treatments to help them look good and feel great. But then again, how do you do that? Well, as all those ways I showed you, and then here's one way. For 16 years, I've specialized in cosmetic patient attraction and retention, and I've tested everything. I mean everything. We've done print ads, email, events, aligning with spas, reward programs. And the thing that has consistently worked and is working better now than ever is, believe it or not, direct mail. The trick to direct mail is to reach out at strategic times throughout the year that make the most emotional impact on your cosmetic patients. Because you're trying to enter the conversation they're already having in their mind, and that's what leads them back to you. For example, birthdays, always a good one for our industry, New Year, New You, and another really good one is changing seasons. And one of the most overlooked yet highly effective holidays is Mother's Day, which is May 8th this year. Now think about the psychology of this patient. Mother's Day patients typically spend most of their time, money, and energy on their family rather than on themselves. So while they might normally feel guilty spending their money on, vanity issues, Mother's Day gives them the permission they need to do something special just for them for a change. Now, by the way, if you think direct mail is dead, let me show you results other practices have gotten. Dr. B did Mother's Day and he got 39 calls, 31 procedures, including 1 breast aug, 28 Botox, and 2 fillers for a grand total of 26,200. Not bad. And then Dr. K got 28 calls, 22 procedures, including 1 bleph and 1 neck lift surgery, 20 injectables, and for a total of 21,600. Now, why direct mail? Because you've probably tried everything else. Redesigning your website for 10,000 to 40,000, SEO and PPC for 2 to 10 grand a month, and some of it is definitely working for you, but a lot of it isn't. Heck, there's a good chance you don't even know what's working or not because it's so darn difficult to track it. For example, can we all agree this mass advertising strategy is just not working anymore for the investment it takes, or at least not working as well as it used to? Consumers are being pummeled by messages, and you just can't make them stop what they're doing, notice, and act when so much is coming at them at once. So dollar for dollar, when it comes to marketing, nothing gives you a better return on your investment than direct mail because it delivers your message straight to your patient most likely to respond to it. And you cannot get this one-on-one personal private time with your patient more than you will with direct mail. So let's get into the how of direct mail and how to use it to get more patients and double your revenues next month. Now, I can tell you one of the biggest mistakes made when it comes to direct mail. If you do attempt this, you typically send mail to strangers who don't know you from Adam. But here's the pearl. The answer to more patients and more profits is in communicating with the Goldmine right under your nose. And that's your current patient database. It's full of patients who know, like, and trust you, and are much more likely to respond to your promotional efforts. So it's the perfect place to start. Now, to go a step further, what's the average cosmetic patient worth to you? And I can tell you this is not exaggerated because I am one of these patients and my numbers are much higher. But an average annual value of a patient, Botox and fillers, they'll come in 3 times a year, spend at least $1,000, so that's $3,000. There's a really good chance with all the new technology, they're going to come in for a laser treatment or a surgery, and that's another $4,000. Then if they have friends, they're going to refer 1 injectable friend and 1 surgical friend because they look so great, so they're chatting about it. So that value is $12,200 per year. Now, here's the best part. You only need 82 of these type of profitable patients per year to enjoy a $1 million practice. Heck, some of you are seeing that number of prospective patients in a week from internet marketing, but you're not seeing that return. So it could be time to try another approach. So you see, it's well worth it to reactivate these patients rather than try to find new ones to take their place. So let's talk again about how to make direct mail work for you, but I'll do it in detail now. I'm going to lay out my 7-step blueprint that you can use to execute your own direct mail campaign to try this out and test it to see if what I'm saying is true. Now also, after I show you these 7 steps, I'm going to also show you an easy way to get started right away without any involvement on your part or your staff's. And if it sounds like a lot of work, don't worry, I'm going to show you the easy way to get this done. So here are the steps. Number 1, segment your database. When it comes to direct mail, your list is everything. You'll get a much better response if you target the most likely patients to respond to this particular mailing. For example, depending on a particular promotion, females and females versus males are much more likely to open and respond to mail. So you've got to test it, but in this case, you're going to want to stick with the females, obviously. Now, step number 2, your piece must be professionally designed. It's got to include eye-catching graphics that are visually interesting. And by the way, you'll want to buy high-resolution graphics so they're not blurry when they're printed, and so you're not sued because you used a graphic you didn't have copyright permission to use. Now, number 3, it's got to get opened. It cannot look like junk mail or it'll get tossed before it gets opened. That means no mailing addresses or using a stamp machine or addressing something to resident. Now, as you can see, this is the 7-step blueprint. So if you think this is a lot of work, it can be. But that's why in a minute, I'm going to show you how easy it is to get this done. Okay, step number 4, you need compelling copy. Mother's Day can be an emotionally charged time of year for cosmetic patients who feel guilty spending money on themselves, but who also want to get their pre-mommy good feelings back. So your copy's got to answer the question, hey, what's in it for me? So you'll want to address their specific fears and concerns and then spell out the benefits they get. Step number 5, your piece needs a great offer they can't refuse. And they also need a tight expiration date so your patients have a sense of urgency so they act now rather than procrastinate. Step 6, alert your staff so they're prepared for the calls. They have to know the details about the piece and the offers so they can book the consultations and appointments easily. By the way, the beauty of this type of marketing is that these callers are calling to book the consultations and appointments. They are not stranger internet patients calling to ask you 10 questions and then hanging up only to call the rest of your competitors to see what their prices are. And then number 7, it's imperative your results are tracked closely so you know what your return on investment is. Now here are the numbers you want to know. How many calls came in because of the mailing? Of those, how many of the callers booked an appointment? And the conversion rate will be super high, like over 80%. And then how many of them showed up? Again, they're going to show up because they know you. They have a relationship with you. And then once they show up, how many converted to a yes? Again, super high conversion rate. And then what are the revenues generated? And just so you know, we've been doing direct mail for years and we have sent out so much. Well, oh, I'm sorry, this is an old slide. Another year went by because now we've sent out up to 2.4 million direct mail pieces and 195 different campaigns have been tested all over the United States. So we've already done the hard part for you. We tested it all and we know what gets your phones ringing. So let me show you more results other practices have gotten. Dr. L got 35 calls, 19 procedures, including 1 lipo, 1 facelift, and then another surgical consult, but I don't know what the result was. And that was for a total of $28,000. And then Dr. B got 27 calls, 17 procedures, including 2 breast aug surgeries, 2 liposurgeries, 13 injectables, as well as 2 additional surgical consultations for a total of at least $35,350. But if you don't have the time and the know-how to do this yourself, here's how I can help you execute your very own customized Mother's Day mailing. This would be a really good test to your new promotional calendar. And it's also the easiest way to get new patients. So all you would do is need to decide the number of patients you want to receive this, and we'll do the rest. It's that simple. And by that I mean we're going to write the copy, add your photo and logo to customize it, determine the offers, design the piece, print, add postage, mail it, and we're even going to track your results for you using a special tracking number assigned just to you. So if this sounds good to you, then go right now to cosmeticpatientattraction.com and just click on the number of patients you want us to send this to, and we'll get you set up. By the way, all you need is 1 to 2 patients to make your money back, and the rest is pure profit. And the beauty is you're never out of pocket because the revenues you get from your investment will more than pay for themselves before your credit card statement comes due. But don't get me wrong, you can still do this on your own using the exact 7-step blueprint. But I know many of you don't like to get involved in this because you're busy practicing medicine and you're not a marketing expert. So as you can see, it's not that difficult, but there are a lot of details involved. So instead of trying to figure it out for yourself and getting your staff frustrated, let me handle it for you. And I'm going to give you results like this. Here's another one. Dr. H, he got 14 calls, but those were really quality calls. He got 1 breast lift surgery, 1 liposuction surgery, 5 injectables, as well as 2 more surgical consults for at least a total of $27,900. And here's what happened with Dr. Funzik. He said it all. I have known Catherine for years and she delivers. She put together a classy snail mail with metrics that brought in 67 calls, 56 injectables, and several surgeries for a total gross income of $72,000. That's a 2,880% return on our investment. As a matter of fact, I'm so sure about the effectiveness of this direct mail strategy, I guarantee it. When we test this, if you don't get at least double your investment back, you get a complete refund, which means you get your money back and no hard feelings. Or if you prefer, we can continue marketing for you to double your revenues. It's your choice. The point is there's absolutely no risk for you whatsoever. Fair enough? And I also want to reward those of you who can be decisive by adding a bonus. The bonus is the first 10 practices, although there are only like 3 spots left because this is the replay, so you have to do this immediately. If you say yes to this before the others do, and you do it by going to cosmeticpatientattraction.com, we're going to include a free Facebook banner as well as a free email, and these are all customized for you. And it's the point is a 3-pronged approach, because the direct mail covers those patients who may not be opening your emails. The emails are good for those who didn't get the direct mail piece, and then the Facebook banner is good for the current patients who follow you that way, because everyone has a different way of keeping track of you and following you, and there's a really good chance they will share it with their friends that way. Okay, but here's the catch. Because this is such a compelling promotional piece, we can only run it for 1 practice per area. So it's a first come, first serve. So you want to reserve your spot now. And this includes the price here. It starts at $1.66 and then it just depends on what your quantity is, because it's definitely dependent on the quantity. But it really does include everything, the postage and the labor. And this piece just knocks it out of the park. I don't know what it is about Mother's Day, but you sure get a good response from it. But it's time sensitive, as I said, because it's Mother's Day, and that's right around the corner on May 8th. So the timing of this piece is crucial, because we've got to get your patients to act on it. Timing is everything when it comes to making a decision. So in this case, we have a hard cutoff date of April 12th to get this thing designed into the printer so it hits your patient's mailbox just at the right time. So I really do need you to say yes now and go to the cosmeticpatientattraction.com page that I set up for you. Here's what the page looks like. I even did a little video there and told you more about the details. And all you need to do is just click on the quantity you want, and then we're going to take it from there. Okay, so that is that. I really want to help you. I want to test this piece for you, and you have nothing to lose, everything to gain, and your patients are going to love it. Okay, I'll talk to you soon.